Tell us a little bit about the darker side, like your journey. Yeah, how do you differentiate between something to say no to? Like,
I went from doing about $300,000 a year to on track for a million.
welcome everyone. I am super excited to have Angel here with us. And today we are going to talk all about some incredible journeys that she's been on about. Man, she was just mentioning right before the show that she has been broadcasting and on radio and doing so many things. And I think back on my journey, I resisted being seen by a lot. Like that was something that was very difficult for me. And to have somebody who that's your main thing and you help other people do it, I'm like really excited for you to share your wisdom with us, share your story and some things that you've overcome along the way. So
Oh,
welcome.
thanks, Tyler. I'm excited to be here. It's funny. I think you know how they say like those that do can't do and those that can't teach or something like that. I think the reason why I do media and PR and help people get publicity is because I'm just a raving introvert and I'd rather put the microphone and the spotlight on you than on myself.
Same. They're like, why do you teach what you do? Because it was super hard for me and I have to do it consistently. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah,
So yeah,
learn it, do it,
tell us.
and then teach it, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I love the concept of your show, peeling back the onion, peeling back the curtain, showing kind of the underbelly of what it really takes, right? Because we do tend to show up with our superhero mask and cape on, and we look like it's all amazing, right? I'm amazing online, right? But then behind the scenes, you have the pile of laundry, the screaming kids, and the barking dogs, and so yeah, this will be a fun show.
Sweet. Well, let's dive in. First, just tell us a little bit about, toot your horn for us. Give us all the cool stuff that you've done, and then let's dive into the stuff underneath that.
All right, so the cool stuff, right? Radio broadcaster for 10 years. I was the host of two daily talk shows out of Denver, Colorado. Nationally syndicated, most influential woman of the year, best talk show team, best talk show host, best morning show. So lots of awards and accolades that came along with that. 15-time best-selling author, lots of books around media and PR, marketing. One really fun children's book that I wrote with my daughter. Actually, I wrote the book. My daughter illustrated it when she was
How many kiddos
17.
do you have, by the
I
way?
have three kids.
Nice.
In fact, this month we're celebrating my 31st wedding anniversary with my
Congratulations.
husband. I have twin daughters who are 30. My son is 26. All three of them work at Walt Disney World. And
What?
so a few years ago, packed up everything from Denver, Colorado, and relocated to Florida to follow our kids. So yeah, they call me a media matchmaker. I've probably done over 2,500 broadcasts, interviewed over 5,000 guests. Yeah, so that's the good stuff.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about the darker side, like your journey. Because I know as an entrepreneur, we all are trying to go for something, and sometimes it's out of ego, like, hey, I want these things, or we're seeking for the money, or whatever it might be, or the time freedom. And those are all great things, but it's not always once you attain it, it's not always what it seems to be. I,
What
I just
always
got off
seems
of
to
a
be.
call with
I think
somebody who was doing like, I think 50 million, and he said out or $20 million, but out of that, he only kept like a couple hundred grand, and then the team took so much away, and it was just chaotic. And he's like, it was not worth all of that to be the number one out there. So anyway, I'm curious as like
yeah,
your journey, and is there anything there that you could
lots of,
shine light on?
right? Yeah, lots of stories and bumps and hurdles along the way. I almost didn't graduate high school because of my fear of public speaking, and so to be in broadcasting because I had such a fear of public speaking was pretty traumatic. I can also talk about how just even in this last year, Tyler, we expanded our business and it grew really fast. I went from doing about $300,000 a year to on track for a million. But what it did very quickly was burn me out because, yeah, the time, the team that it takes, just the energy suck. It didn't take long, like 7 months into it. I'm like, yeah, this is not for me. To have to put that much time into it. So reshifting the whole business model for more lifestyle freedom. I'm in my 50s, right? My husband's in his 60s. We are living the semi-retired lifestyle. At least we were, and then decided to launch and grow the business even bigger. And it just shifted our whole values and priorities for time. So
Can
having to
you
shift
talk a
that
little bit
again, right?
about
I just
that?
feel
Uh,
like we're just always shifting.
yeah, and that's super important. You're talking about your values and priorities. Talk a little bit about that point as an entrepreneur, because I know for me, the times where I haven't focused on my values and priorities is usually when things fall apart and I'm not happy.
Yeah.
So yeah, could you
Yeah. It
touch a
kind of
little bit
came
on
to
that?
a head. This was several months ago, probably about seven months ago. But we'd been working, kind of building up in the back end, right? All the things that have to shift. Like when you're growing a business, like what you need to hit, six figures is different than what you need to hit 300 and different to hit 500 and different to hit million. Like your systems and your processes and your team, like all of that shifts as you grow. So we were in that space and we were hiring a lot of team members. And I was scheduled to go, like I said, my kids all work at Disney. I was scheduled to go to the park. We were going to have our family pictures taken. You can actually rent a photographer, hire a photographer is the right word, a Disney photographer for 20 minutes, a private photography session at Disney for your whole family for like $100. So we were scheduled to have this photography session, but something with the team and we needed to shift. And I'm like, I needed to now do this other thing. And I had to cancel that photography session, but my parents were in town. So the whole family went to Disney without me and I was working. And it wasn't the first time that had happened over the last, the previous 3 months. And I was just heartbroken. I'm like, I'm working so hard. I'm doing all of this to grow a business, but I'm not having I have zero freedom. I have zero time with my family. I'm not, I'm not happy. And therefore, like you've heard it, happy wife, happy life. Like not happy doesn't cut it. And so it's easy for an entrepreneur because there's always more to do. Like the workday is never
Always.
finished, right?
Never.
There's always more you can be doing to market, to customer service, to improve your product and service and delivery. Like there's always more we could be doing. And because we're not punching a clock and we don't have, I don't know, we don't have like the stop button, right? And like we just keep working. And at some point, like for me, I just had to decide like really what is it that I really want my lifestyle to be and build a business that suits my lifestyle versus try to build a life that suits my
Yeah,
around the business that I have built. Does that make sense?
absolutely. Yeah, and I think oftentimes we get stuck in this thought of I'm going to make the sacrifices for a while in order to create this freedom that I want. But then that while ends up being a lifestyle because you've built the system around that.
Yeah,
And then
right.
it's it's
I know. And
you're
we had done and I knew better is I created a job, right? Like if we're as entrepreneurs, the goal is to create an asset. And so build up assets that you can sell, that you can monetize. But we end up being the crazy ones. We don't want to work 40 hours because we end up wanting to work 80 to 100
I
hours.
know, right?
Like I won't work 40 hours for somebody else, but I'm working crazy nonstop. And yet, Tyler, when we peeled it back and realized like what got us to where we were and what really were the fundamentals of success in our business, like we had just gotten so off track from that. But what really was like two core things for us was getting booked on interviews for podcast interviews every week, right? Going out and marketing your business, getting in front of a fresh new audience, creating traffic, creating leads. And we had figured that out years ago through 2 interviews a week. And then creating an amazing offer and having a lead magnet that pulls to that. So we said we do 2 interviews a week. We send an email every day. and we scaled it back. And now we're training our clients like 2 interviews a week, a sale, an email every day, like just book more sales calls, create better offers, make an offer every day, like ring the register more often. All the other stuff can just be a distraction. It can be overwhelming. It's the new shiny, right? But if we exposure and revenue, like if we just do those 2 things, everything else just falls into place so much
That's
nicer.
awesome.
But we were just creating and creating and creating you'll never be done creating. There's always a book, a course, a program, social media content, a blog. Like there's always more to create. And you'll never stop. But as long as you're focused on creating traffic and finding ways to bring in revenue every day, like that's the simple piece. And we fight each other and my business partner, right? Is this distraction or is this adding value today?
How
Because
do you
we just
differentiate
can't
that?
keep
How do
burning the
you,
candle.
yeah, how do you differentiate between something to say no to? Like, because there's a million podcasts, there's like all this stuff out there. How do you differentiate and say, hey, this is something that it aligns with our core values and what we need, and it's going to actually be something to improve our trajectory and our income versus, no, this is going to be a waste of time.
So I wish I had some like little magic crystal ball that said exactly like
Yeah,
this networking event, this podcast, right? This email, like this group is going to be the absolute answer. But you do tend to get into a rhythm where you know who you serve, the number one problem you solve. And if there's a fit there, even if it's not, and people come to me and they're like, I don't want to get booked I only want to get booked on the top podcasts, right? I only want to get the ones that have millions of followers. I'm like, if I put you in a room with 25 of your ideal target audience of the people that you help the most and said, I'm going to put you in front of them for 20 minutes and let you speak and share, would you turn that down? Like, heck no. Right? Like I would be all over that. Put me in a room with 25 really core quality people that I know are my target audience. I'd rather that than the millions, right? Because one, it's easier access, easier to get booked on, easier to connect with them. And like the conversion is so much higher. So like sometimes we have to shift our perspective and say, like, we want to was it step over dollars to pick up pennies?
yeah.
Right? We're chasing something that's like way down the road when right in front of us is probably an opportunity, probably hundreds, if not thousands of opportunities to go out and share your message. And here's another thing, like if you're down in the dumps, just feeling like it's just not working and, just beating yourself up mentally, if you're a guest on somebody else's show, if you have that scheduled, you get to talk about what you're most passionate about. You get to talk about what juices you up, right? What lights you up. Like that will change your whole perspective. Like when things aren't going good, do good, right? So go and share your story. Go and share it every single week. And don't worry about how many people are listening because the right person could be listening.
That's awesome. So let's say somebody wants to learn more about what you do and they want more exposure. What's the best way for them to follow you and get access to what you do?
Thanks, Tyler. I love that. Well, we run a Facebook group. We started this Facebook group a few years ago. It's probably the best place to play with us and to connect and get to know what I'm all about. It's where I play matchmaker every day. It's a Facebook group. It's called Need a Guest. And I started it because, Tyler, people were always coming to me saying, Angel, I need a guest. I need a guest who can speak on this, who can speak on that. Who do you know? And because of my years in broadcasting, traveling as a public speaker, I've just built an incredible network of incredible guests that would, who have amazing stories, authors, speakers, coaches. So we started a Facebook group. It's free. You can play in there. You can get exposure. You can get booked. If you've got a show, you can promote your show for free, help you create more exposure, downloads, and
Awesome.
subscribers. Yeah. We just crossed over. It took about 2.5 years to hit 10,000 subscribers. And then in the last 15 months, we tripled that number.
Wow,
So
that's so
I'm pretty
cool.
excited about that.
Way to go. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So need a guest, and
Need a
then
guest.
they can go in there, play, and get more exposure and serve other people. So awesome. And if you had one piece of advice to finish off, one thing that was like, let's say you had 10 million people all in front of you and you had 30 seconds to deliver your last message on the planet, what would it be?
Become obsessed with what you want, because you'll get what you think about most of the time. So think about what you really want and just become obsessed with it. The how and the who and the what will show up if you just stay incredibly focused on what it is you want. And if you want to share your story, you want to make an impact, you want to give back to the world, become obsessed with that and watch it happen.
Boom. Love it. Okay, get obsessed with what you want and go share it. Sweet. Love it. Well, thank you so much for joining today. And thanks everybody for listening. Hopefully you guys go join the Need a Guest, because it sounds like that's a great community to connect with.
I hope you do. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you all next time.
Hey, what's up? If you want to get access to learn the full process of how to change at a cellular level, click the link in the description. I actually have created a way for you to get access to the Unstoppablepreneur School for free so that you can check it out on a trial so you can experience these changes for yourself. So if you want to learn more, if you want to dive deeper, if you want to go through some of the coolest processes on the planet and the fastest hacks, click the link in the description and we'll see you on the other side.
Was it me? No, it was each and every one of you. So we all chose to do that. No one forced you. No one made you. You chose, which is freaking awesome.